Ooh, I'm Zombie Mario here, and I'm from the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. And, sorry about that. I'm just speaking to the forms of the zombie impression, so even then, and plus, despite the fact that the Halloween itself is basically over and done with, but even then, no, there's not much else to really talk about that. So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more Let's Play of Super Mario Odyssey, specifically in Luigi's Blue World mode in the Nintendo Switch. So, last time we have managed to able to deal with Luigi's Blue World specifically in Luncheon Kingdom, and we actually did that much better than I was expecting will be, because even then we did manage to reach out the forms of the maximum amount of coins as we can able to tell for this point. But now we're able to actually able to realize that we actually got about 9 more of those power moons to go. Or in this case 8, mind you, just because we accidentally spent one of them during the forms of the Seaside Kingdom by accident, because, well, I just keep on pressing A and A and A multiple times until I get myself a little bit more faster progression. But apart from those side of things though, not much else to really say, apart from the fact that we've already got about 8 more power moons to go until whenever we reach out to the maximum amount of those power moons, would you believe it? And also, the same applies by the forms of, well, we've only got about 2 more kingdoms to go when it comes to Luigi's Blue World entirely. Then when we're done with that, we can show off the final thing, which is of course the virtual reality thing for Nintendo Labo. And that particular Let's Play of Super Mario Odyssey will be finished by then. Well, until when it gets to the point until specifically, spoiler warning, it will be at the 28th of December, because the reason why I say that, because, well, you know, we might as well find out in during forms of, well, after when Christmas has been finished. And, believe it or not, because the reason why I say, originally I did say about the fact that I was gonna able to take a break for this game for a while, just because of how the fact that, well, first of all, I just need to able to actually get the Luigi's Blue World videos done and over with. Well, not so much in a painful process, but to be more accurate, trying to able to get these videos done before, well, I would classify for saying about the fact that until then, that I'll let Sonic be able to finally get back into Kingdom Hearts Final Mix at some point during tomorrow. Although, originally I was gonna say about the fact that, well, excuse me, I got something on my throat there. I was originally trying to say about everything else when it comes to Game Awards during this year, but I'll let Sonic mention about that when he gets onto the forms of Kingdom Hearts Final Mix tomorrow. So even then, because chances are though, there's not much else I can talk about this, apart from, there's actually a new update that has been just recently released during the forms of, well, to be more specifically with the forms of, well, it did manage to came out recently in 12th of December or something like that, with, you know, the new update on Dr. Mario World for the iOS. Honestly, out of all the actual Mario games on the iOS, or the iPhone I should say, that the games I managed to able to download, I think I actually played Dr. Mario World the least out of, because, well, at the moment right now, I think, for the most part, I think the Mario Kart Tour did manage to take over when it comes to likely most time played Mario game at the moment on the smartphones for this point right now, or even compared to the forms of how it does it on Super Mario Run, where basically you have to, the only time you have to pay for money is of course, get the full experience of the game though, and, well, it's usually free for starters, but until when it gets to the point when Dr. Mario World come in, especially noticeable with, you know, Mario Kart Tour, then basically we can just simply able to expect it that we could able to actually utilize the actual games for free, but it does have some microtransactions here and there, which, that might seems a little bit cumbersome and stuff like that, So yeah, anyway, with Dr. Mario World, with the new update that they just managed to bring in right now, the only reason being for that is the fact that, once again, they'll add in more characters to the table, specifically, 2 characters, which there are Kamek, because we haven't got a playable Kamek ever since in Mario Golf World Tour, which is nice for him, and also Baby Rosalina, or in this case, for this matter though, Dr. Kamek and Dr. Baby Rosalina. So, I mean, what's next? Oh wait, they've already done Baby Mario, Baby Luigi, Baby Peach, and Baby Daisy, but now we have Baby Rosalina, which, sure enough, she make a comeback after the appearance of, you know, Mario Kart Tour. So even then, I mean, usually I don't mind about Baby Rosalina as far as for her appearance, but it's just that how many babies do we ever need? I mean, usually we got, you know, Dr. Mario and Dr. Baby Mario, and same applies for Luigi or Dr. Luigi, which is pretty obvious for Dr. Luigi because although despite I still haven't got the game yet on Journey Forms of the Wii U and stuff like that because I need to get around to it. But aside from everything else though, there's not much else commented on the forms of how come Baby Rosalina makes a comeback. Well, to be more accurate, on a doctor formation of herself. But either way though, let's not mention about that specific details onto that specifically at the moment, just because, well, we're mainly focusing on, you know, Super Mario Odyssey where it comes to Luigi's Bloom World's case. So, but you know, you get the drill for this point right there, so even then we'll expect for that point. Now, you know I said this before about the fact that we were going to get ourselves 50 stars onto that specific ranking, you probably can tell. I don't think it's possible to show this off during the actual Let's Play, sadly, because since after all that the 2019 rather was almost going to be finished, so even then no chances are I could expect about the fact that that particular year will be, well, you know, just being finished and all that stuff. I have no idea what I'm truly saying for this point right now, just because, well, to be honest, guys, while I did manage to able to find some solutions with the actual discussions to make, but honestly, I think I've already mentioned quite a few things when it comes to the forms of yesterday's video, or even in this case by the forms of, well, specifically yesterday's video about the fact that with my final thoughts of the forms of ND World Direct and all that stuff. And then, as far as I'm aware for this point, I say this again anyway though, but I'm pretty sure that the ND World has basically taken over when it comes to the majority of this year now, because even then, well, I don't know if I can usually compare that to 2018 for sure, but because of that though, there's not much else I can talk about. But even then, yeah, aside from everything else though, is the fact that, as I mentioned this before already, that, you know, after we're done with this video, I will take a break for this game for a little bit, until whenever I get back into it at some point in 27th of December, then after that we can able to hopefully conclude the entire Let's Play of Super Mario Odyssey at some point in 28th of December, spoiler warning, and because of that though, you probably know what's gonna come up in Journey Forms of the usual Christmas videos. Yes, it's gonna be, well, I'm not going to tell you for this point too much specifically, because, well, we have to wait and find out. So even then, yeah, let's just get into the forms of the actual discussion about the forms of Luigi's Bloom World where it comes to this particular kingdom, as you can see here. Now, as you can see right there, it's all in yellow as opposed to the forms of how it does in all red in comparison to the forms of when you normally export from, which I think is actually pretty cool though. Because the only major difference is just the actual sky is actually in yellow. Well, usually yellow clouds to begin with, whilst everything else though might be exactly identical to each other from, you know, when you play it normally and stuff like that, which, even then I have no idea why I'm really saying that, so. But anywho though, and I suppose another thing I'd like to discuss upon is the fact that some of these movie reviews has been turned out, especially noticeable with, you know, with the terrible Playmobil the movie has been just been out in Journey Forms of North America, and yeah, it really sucks. It really does suck, because even then, usually kind of think about it, as I truly noticing this before ever since the Journey Forms of in August at some form or another. That particular film got like a pretty bad rating, like specifically 20% out of like 100 and all that stuff, which I think is pretty obvious because it's a Lego movie clone, but even then, because it's how I understand because it's the different developer out there, or even the different company out there, but either way though, I have no idea why I just keep on failing just like so. But because of that, though, I have no idea where the balloons are. I think, at this point in time, especially noticeable for this entire kingdom like this, that this kingdom is going to be so big in comparison to the forms of how it does it on the previous kingdom since we've done it before, I think the only reason being for that is because we need to go from island to island, basically. So even then, because there's going to be some of those balloons that we do need to able to go from one island to another, so I think that could be the majority of the time, though. But luckily, though, until whenever we get to the Moon Kingdom, which I'll mention about this again, that we're able to actually get into the Moon Kingdom eventually at the end of December month. So, just want to classify that. And, hopefully it won't be taking that much long to able to actually just to get to it. But still, regardless of everything else, though, that there will be a few times, though, about the fact that I might easily just lose some of the strict combos or what have you. So, but then again, I do apologize for the actual lack of briefing of the actual commentary sake for this point, folks, because, well, there's not much else I can discuss upon. And also, not to mention about the fact that my laptop seems to lag a little bit, which even then, though, it doesn't happen that often, or perhaps maybe because of how the fact that I just add in too much pages on screen or something like that, which I do need to take itself too easy when it comes to the forms of reading some of the stuff, or even especially noticeable just trying to able to access to some other stuff in general. So even then, I just want to classify that. Okay, I have no idea what that balloon is supposed to be hiding through, but regardless of... Oh, there's the balloon there! There's the balloon there! Whew! Oh, jeez, Louise, that was actually pretty close, because I was gonna be concerned about this, because I'm almost gonna get confused by where in the world that balloon is gonna be placed in. Although, speaking of the actual coins amount actually, specifically for this entire kingdom itself, for this specific run, unfortunately I don't think we can able to reach into 9,999 coins for the time being, just because, well, since I somehow accidentally spent on, you know, with the forms of the zombie costume and what have you, which I'll point things out right away. I don't think I can able to sadly show you guys the knight's armor kind of costume to wear, as well as the forms of that special Pixel Mario, you know, the costume or what have you. But what I'm really aiming for at this point in time, as I mentioned this before, that I'm actually going to be going after the skeleton costume, which even then, that will be the last main thing I need to grab until whenever I 100% through everything when it comes to Super Mario Odyssey. Well, one exception, mind you, which is of course Luigi's Blue World and all that stuff, which I was supposed to able to actually count that, but even then though, it might be seems a little bit more, I don't know what I was supposed to say there, to be honest with you, but I will play it on my own time eventually, so that I can able to show you guys at least one of those rewards you can get for, you know, playing Luigi's Blue World for a long period of time. Although it might take a while to able to actually just to noticing this, because, well, you know what I mean. Because, yeah, there's going to be some of those balloons that's going to be further away from this point, because I don't think that we can't able to actually get into Island 1, or Island 2, or Island 3 for that matter, though. Well, to be more specifically, the beginning of this particular kingdom, because, well, the only accessible ability, you know, the accessibility when it comes to, accessing this kingdom is of course this particular island right here, as well as the one on the left and one on the another island to top it off. So at least this one is pretty easy to get though, because basically it's like it's not that far from here though, although the only time you need to notice things from this point that we do need to avoid a lot of those traps or what have you, including the forms of you know when some of these balloons might get stingy when it comes to some placements like this, especially if you really want to go for the highest amount of coins you might actually reward it for, but even then I will consider this a main factor about that. Oh really? Why can't I grab it from here? Oh wait, I need to use this guy to break the blocks, and then boom, there we go. At least we got some more coins from here, so... But at any rate though, there's not much else I can say about it sadly, apart from the fact that, well, I've already mentioned about this before, about the two new characters they're going to be added in recently during the forms of Dr. Mario World, which is of course Dr. Baby Rosalina, and as well as Dr. Kamek. So even then, seems a little bit of a strange decisions when it comes to those two doctors basically, because apart from the fact that, well, you know what I mean, because we have not seen Kamek as a playable character for quite a while now, ever since in Mario Golf World Tour. Or technically, if you want to count Mario Sports Superstars, but that usually becomes part of the forms of, the baseball sport, which is not by much in theory. Oh yeah, the Mario Tennis Aces game. Oh yeah, because of the actual DLC thing, isn't it? Oh jeez, I totally forgot about that game. Oh jeez, I need to get ahead of myself, because I definitely need to get back into Mario Tennis Aces at some point, and then hopefully I can able to unlock the rest of the character roster for sure. But even then, though, I don't know exactly when though, just because, well, obviously I need to able to complete this game first in 100% on my own time, and then after we're done with that, I can able to move on to the next game of the Nintendo Switch lineup, such as, well, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, Kirby Star Allies eventually, and also same applies for, well, all the other jazz, including the forms of the future games in the future timeline, such as, well, hopefully Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, if I give that game a second chance. So even then, because I already mentioned about this during the forms of yesterday's video for sure. Because yeah, unfortunately for this point guys, this is going to be the unlucky day for today's uploading schedule, sadly, just because today's day is of course the Friday the 13th today. Oh boy, it's going to be something else, I'm telling you. It's going to be something else, because, well, first of all, about the fact that obviously because today is the unlucky 13th day, and second of all, it's on Friday, which could be potentially be some sort of like a unlucky, unfortunate events ever. And finally, because of how the fact that, if you can tell from the actual gameplay standpoint, I don't think I can able to actually perform that well when it comes to the forms of this particular video itself, because, well, usually unlike the forms of how it does on Wednesday and Thursday so far, that I seem to able to talk a lot out of it. But unfortunately for this video's case, I don't think I can able to mention about certain things or what have you, so kind of sad though, because even then I was expecting able to actually discuss on something new, but sadly that's not the case. So even then, yeah, we'll go ahead and continue finding those balloons eventually, and I get a horrible feeling is that some of these balloons might be somewhere in the rooftops or anything like that, but then again though, I really do not know exactly where the placements are for the sake of this kingdom sometimes, because I know this has been quite a few days since I coming back into this kingdom, so even then, I think the last time I went to this kingdom was actually going after the final few sets of regional coins, as well as the final set of those power moons before we move on to, you know, the dark side, including the darker side. So even then, I just want to classify that. So, oh well, we'll try the different balloon, and hopefully we can able to find that one at least. So, although, if it goes like pretty rough around the edges for this specific... What the... Oh my god, why? Why did I manage to able to accidentally roll into that? This is what I mean when it comes to today's video, because, well, usually this is the unlucky 13th day, so even then, hopefully by that time until tomorrow for the sake of this weekend, that we'll let Sonic will mention about more specific details on specific stuff eventually, so that'll be pretty okay, as long as we could able to actually just for the sake of clarity, because of how the fact that, well, we just want to get these, well, not all of these parts, mind you, for the actual Let's Play of Kingdom Hearts Final Miss, well, I don't know why I'm truly saying that right, because of how the fact that, well, it has been, well, quite a while since I actually did manage to able to record some of the stuff, because again, sometimes my laptop, or the actual computer for that matter, just sometimes lag a little bit, but hopefully, but thankfully though, I did manage to fix it though, so even then, hopefully it should able to run as well. But aside from everything else though, there's not much else to can discuss upon, so... Anyways though, so let's go ahead and search for a different balloon. I think for the majority of the balloons, as you can see, that I keep on searching for it, it was actually based off from, well, I won't necessarily say based off from something, because it's actually like, the majority of the balloons I find, that is going to be most likely on the lower level on this, for the sake of this island, because, well, it just makes it a little bit easier if you really want to rank up some more coins. But then again, I think the easiest kingdom out of them all, when it comes to Luigi's Balloon World in general, which will definitely have to be by the forms of, specifically, the Lost Kingdom, as far as I mentioned this before, because, well, yeah, that particular kingdom was pretty short, but even then though, all small and confined. And to top it off is the fact that you can able to actually hit and, you know, just trying to hide certain of those balloons as you like. So, yeah, but then again, there's not much else I can talk about this at this point in time, but then again, I'll let Sonic will mention about more specific details about, you know, the Kingdom Hearts final mix and all that stuff as soon as he comes back into that game after, you know, 2 months hiatus ever since Journey Forms of, since in October, around the same, time as when My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, TV series has ended. Well, for the entirety of the forms of the TV series as a result, but even then, we'll, let Sonic get back onto that after he actually been through, quite a lot these days, specifically for the actual Let's Plays of, Warrior World for the GameCube and stuff like that. So, yeah, not much else to say. So anyways, I really can't guarantee I can able to make it for this point, so yeah, that kind of stings. Although I could able to use that, that woodpecker enemy right here, so that I can able to actually cling through walls and stuff. But then again, as I mentioned this before, during forms of the darker side, kind of mission, in this case, the final mission in the whole entire game, well, I found it very, very difficult to control this thing sometimes, or in this case, well, it's not that bad, don't get me wrong, it's just that the only problem with this particular enemy to capture with is that I found myself easy to lose control of myself. Well, because I'm not exactly sure if I was expecting if I was going to be able to be used to with any of, missions like this, and yeah, looks like I'm gonna get myself screwed over right there. Oh, that's terrific. So, as soon as whenever I failed, most of the stuff in the forms of Bowser's Kingdom, when it comes to Luigi's Bloom World, I think, whenever I did manage to fail this for a final time, well, I'm gonna tell you this right about now, I don't think we can able to actually continue for this point where it comes to, like, you know, rank up some more coins here and there for the sake of this video, sadly, just because, well, I'm gonna tell you for this point right about now. Although, apart from the fact that the beginning part is not so bad, but in forms of, like, nearly towards the end of this run, though, I think it's gonna be likely pretty rough around the edges, though. I'm gonna tell you that right now. But anyway, let's just go ahead and get that balloon anyway, though, so that way we can able to make things a little bit easier, but either way, though, pretty decent for that specific placement, though, so I consider this robust. So, yeah, pretty swell. And let's see what I'm gonna go after next. I suppose mainly we can able to, let's do this again. So even then, we need to rank up some more coins as possible. That's the only thing I need to, well, go for it. So even then, we can able to actually just hopefully get up to 5,000 at least. But it might be not enough in comparison to the forms of how it does here in the Snow Kingdom, but to the actual Snow Kingdom's credit for it, at least it does manage to take place in the forms of that one particular placement or the actual location of that specific kingdom at least. So, but aside from all that stuff though, I don't think we can able to max out our coins counter, sadly, for the sake of this video, which then again is another reason why this is going to be the unlucky 13th day for the Friday as far as I'm aware, just because, you know, every single time I made several mistakes in one hand, well, usually most of the time that seems the case, so, but anyway though, so let's go ahead and just skid along for a moment, and then hopefully we could double check on the other side to see what gets like a heads up. And I get a horrible feeling about the fact that with that specific next balloon I'm actually going after, well, I think, truth be told, I think it's gonna be at a little bit far away in comparison to the forms of most other balloons. So it's not on the beanstalk, and I really can't guarantee I can able to actually reach it for this specific distance over there. Although I could give it a go, but it might look like it might not likely, so yep, as far as to be expected, this is going to be a really rough run. Like, I guarantee this is going to be pretty rough with that specific run in mind. So, if that being said, yeah, I think we should probably quit. So, yeah, as soon as whenever I failed this for the final time or something like that, I think we should probably just quit Bowser's Kingdom for now. like, I don't have any much to say about it other than I just have to keep on fighting for that specific stuff. I have no idea why I've captured that photo right there. You know what's the most redundant thing about this? Is that I was originally originally I was gonna able to actually just to purchase the skeleton costume kind of thing about it for the sake of the forms of this kingdom, but unfortunately that's not the case, because even then, although I could use the actual the beanstalk coin trick, but unfortunately though we have to move on, because even then we'll purchase the final few power moons, and that way we can able to max out our power moons counter. So even then, hopefully things gets a little bit more relative and all that stuff. So at least we can able to actually just to complete ourselves the power moons collecting. So even then, until whenever we move on to the final kingdom in Luigi's Bloom World, which is to be more specifically the Moon Kingdom, we don't have to worry about like purchasing some more of those power moons, as long as that, well, if we off-buy certain stuff, well, more power to me. So even then, there goes the final few power moons, and look at that. We got 999 of those power moons. We've collected, let's see, 999 power moons. Wow, that's amazing. Oh, and that reminds me, there's a surprise waiting for you. Let's head to Peach's Castle. Although, we're not going to do that just yet, Cappy, because, well, at the moment right now, we have to mainly focusing on the final kingdom to deal with when it comes to Luigi's Bloom World itself. So even then, but then again, this will have to wait until any forms of the 27th of December, so hopefully we can able to finish that particular Let's Play around the same time as when the New Year is about to be approaching. So yeah, I think everything else will be a little bit more relative and all that stuff. So as long as if the copper system was involved still, then obviously it'll make it a little bit worse for ourselves. Well, I'm not exactly sure for some reason though, because, well, I haven't exactly known about this yet. So anyways, let's dress up as the forms of the Rango Bunny right here. So even I know this is one of those brutals, as far as I meant to say for this part. And I do apologize with the actual constant, commentary cuts, because, well, once again, my microphone just keeps on cutting off for some reason. Although I didn't fiddle around or anything like that, but hopefully, it will end during at some point at the very end of this year. So, I just want to point that out. So, yeah, I guess we'll end things off here. So join me next time on Let's Play Super Mario Odyssey. Will actually be the final part of Luigi's Bloom World by going through the Moon Kingdom. And after that, well, we'll go into the virtual reality mode, and that will be about it for Super Mario Odyssey Let's Play. So see you guys on the 27th of December.